Hey guys and girls, and welcome to a brand new pickup video. Now I know it's been a while since I did my last video. In fact, I think it's been a hell of a long time, but the truth is I've just not been picking up much stuff. I mean, I see things here and there and I think, oh, I'll pick that up, that's cheap enough, and I don't have it and I could do with getting it. But on the whole, I just walk into game shops and all that, game stalls, markets and what have you, and I look around and I think that looks nice, but I kind of don't need it. So yeah, I'm getting a bit more conservative when it comes to playing games. Not even playing games, buying games, that's the one. So what I have picked up, I've picked up over the last few months or so, and I've got two batches actually. One which I picked up over the last few months ago, and another batch which I picked up a couple of weeks or so back at the London Gaming Market. So what we're going to do, my initial batch first, because they were here a lot longer and they've just been begging to be shown on film. So let's get that started. We've got ourselves quite a mixture here actually. Right, first up is Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. This I've been on the hunt for quite some time now, and for 15 quid you can't go wrong. So I haven't played this yet. I need to finish off I can't remember the previous Mario and Luigi game. It'll probably come to me in a minute. It's about Luigi in the dream world and what have you. I know what I'm trying to say. It will come back to me eventually. So yeah, I wanted to get hold of this because obviously I like Paper Mario. Who doesn't? So 15 quid, not bad. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, I mean it doesn't have the instruction manual in it, but then again, most games don't these days, unfortunately, which is a rather shame. Right, next up, PlayStation 4 title, Resident Evil 7. Now, I've been wanting to pick this up for quite some time. In fact, I find it weird that this being the latest numbered installment of the franchise, I took until it was 10 quid to buy, whereas Resident Evil 2 Remake I bought on launch. Kind of tells you a lot about the Resident Evil franchise as a whole versus a remake of an older game. I've been looking forward to Resident Evil 2 for ages. Obviously not since the release of the original Resident Evil 2, but more kind of, I suppose, since Resident Evil Remake on GameCube. They'll remake Resident Evil 2. Yeah, it took them until now to do it. But yeah, Resident Evil 7. Haven't played this yet. I really should get on with it, but I need to play Resident Evil 6 first, so that's going to be an interesting adventure. Right, next up, Japanese PlayStation 2 game. This is a game that I didn't know I kind of wanted, but now that I've got it and I've played it a little bit, it's not too bad actually, and that is Kunoichi, known in the West, if I recall, as Nightshade. It's actually not a bad game. I always find it a bit weird playing 3D games using the dual shock, because the stick being in its position where it is, it kind of makes my left thumb feel a bit weird versus having the stick up the top there so my thumb can be straight. But something, it's not actually that bad. The gameplay feels pretty tight. The combo system in this game is actually quite robust, which I actually like. I mean, it has a system where you string together combos on a set number of enemies, and when you've comboed into each enemy, it delivers an instant kill on each of those enemies. So that's actually quite good. So I'm really getting into Kunoichi. Right, next up, this is a Wii U game. That is never going to get old. I am never going to get tired of that. But that is, surprisingly, Wii Sports Club. Now, I do have, I can't remember what sports I actually downloaded off the eShop. I think it was tennis and bowling. Yeah, I just downloaded tennis and bowling because those were the only two sports I actually really cared about. But, something, I saw this in CEX. It was a reasonable price. How much was it exactly? It was 18 quid, which actually isn't too bad for this game, considering I've seen it go for much more on eBay. But yeah, it's got a nice little disc on it, so yeah, I thought I'd pick this up because okay, I've got Wii Sports. Everybody and their grandmother played Wii Sports back in the day, but I've always wanted to kind of get hold of Wii Sports Club just for fun, you know. And given what you can do seemingly with a golf there, you can use the gamepad, you know. I thought I'd give it a go, but yeah. And the good thing about this is you can actually send messages and use them all over Miiverse. Oh wait. Right, next up, Xbox original game actually. I was about to say Xbox One game, but that's going to be completely, well, that's now inaccurate. Xbox original game. That is Alien Hominid. Think of Metal Slug, but cartoon and involving this little yellow dude. I'm sure there's probably a lot of you out there that have played Alien Hominid and can probably testify to how hard it is, because it is quite... it's quite challenging, and you really need to pay attention with this game, because if you don't, there isn't bullets flying everywhere, but the bullets do blend very well in with the background. So you've got to be on your A game with this. I mean, I've already got this on 360, but I don't know. It was cheap on Xbox Original, and yeah, you can say that's the back of the case right there. I haven't been showing the backs of cases, have I? Yeah, Alien Hominid, it wasn't, I can't remember how much this was actually. I think it was, yeah, it was only £4. Not too bad. And yeah, we've got the inside of the cases right there. Cases, yeah, try case, Joe. That'll do. So that's Alien Hominid. Probably won't play that a great deal, but it's always worth a crack. Right, next up, a GameCube game. Camera's there. GameCube game. This is part of a franchise that I will say I'm a fan of, but I'm not obviously like a massive fan. There are bigger fans of this franchise, but I do appreciate it for what it is, and that is Godzilla! Destroy All Monsters Melee. I remember playing this actually around a friend's house, because he got it, and I thought it was alright. I mean, it looks pretty, if I remember right, it looks pretty intense, and I think I remember enjoying it, so yeah. This is the funniest thing actually. Let me just grab the price for this. Right, so I got this from CEX for £5, right? Not a bad price, but H&V had it on sale for £3.99. Little dirty markup there. But then again, it's a GameCube game, what do you expect? You know, even the cheapest ones get, you know, marked up a little bit. So yeah, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. Right. Next up, we got ourselves a Master System game. Now, this one I actually haven't played yet, but this has been highly recommended to me. It's probably one of the best games on the system, and that is The Lucky Dime Caper, starring Donald Duck. Now, I have made it known in recent times that Donald Duck is my boy. You know, he's my favourite Disney character of all time. Mainly because I can relate to him, because he has a massive temper, and let's be honest, you know, so do I. So I can kind of relate to him. But yeah, I haven't actually played this yet, but I found it, again, for cheap. Pretty much the only reason why I ever get games nowadays, because I find them for cheap. Because I'm getting quite tight now. Oh yeah, this was only £4. So yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, as I've said about 2 or 3 times already. But you know, I'm looking forward to playing this actually. I may even boot up the analog Mega SG just to give that a play. Right, next up we've got ourselves a couple of N64 games. Now I have shown these off on Twitter already. In fact, some of the pickups I've shown off on Twitter already. So that's a benefit of following me on Twitter. But with these 2 games, yeah, I've already shown them off already. Yeah, I thought to myself, should I, shouldn't I? One game I definitely want to get hold of, and one game I heard about. I thought, you know, we'll give it a whirl, why not? And the first one, that is actually Body Harvest. I've read a lot about this actually, and I gave the first couple of levels, I think it is, the first 1 or 2 levels, I'm not sure which one it is. In fact, I think it was probably just the first level, but whichever. Yeah, and the controls take a bit of getting used to, but then again, it's an N64 game, what do you expect? But it actually wasn't too bad, you know, I quite enjoyed playing it. It's one hell of a laugh. The unfortunate thing about both of these N64 games actually is that they didn't come with any actual cardboard inserts, so I actually had to buy a couple of those, which, you know what, it's not too bad. I think I bought like, what, 3 for a £5 or something like that off eBay. So it will definitely help protect them from crush damage, that's for sure. So yeah, that's Body Harvest. I can't remember how much this one cost me. I think it was quite cheap anyway. Next up, this is a game I've been after for years, right? Ever since I saw the challenge on Games Master back in the day. I thought to myself, oh, I should pick this up at some point, and I saw it in CEX, it was cheap, I thought to myself, I'm going for it, and that is Blast Corps. And those of you that saw Games Master back in the day, you will remember that Paul McKenna actually did a challenge on this, and he failed spectacularly, although he managed to trick Dominic Diamond into believing that he succeeded. And you know something, the game is actually not too bad. I mean, I've absolutely 100%ed the first planet, or at least I hope I've 100%ed it. If I recall, I've gotten all the gold medals on it, so yeah, it's actually, pardon the pun, quite a blast actually. And you got the back of the box right there, which is actually really cool. So yeah, I've been after this game for a long time, so yeah, that's Blast Corps. Glad to have that in my possession. And again, I had to get a cardboard insert for it, but that's absolutely fine. You know, keeps that in well, obviously not pristine condition, but it'll keep it in good enough condition. Alright guys, so that's actually it for what I've been picking up over the last few months, and I've just seen my 3DS, which means I can tell you what the Paper Mario game was. Mario and Luigi Dream Team Brothers. So there we go, I knew I'd get there eventually. So those of you who were feverishly typing in the comments section and posted them already before I had the chance to say this, there you go. Right, now we got the small batch that I got from the London Game Market. It's actually quite a reasonable amount actually, and I didn't even spend that much this time around. I mean, I normally take a budget of about 100 quid with me, and I didn't actually spend that much this time around, which is, you know, playing into my my being conservative now about what games I want and what have you. So yeah, the first thing I got was not a game, but it is the Retro Gen adapter for the Super Nintendo. And for those of you that don't know, well, the three of you that don't know, this is a device that you can use to play your Mega Drive games on the Super Nintendo. And it's actually really cool. I mean, the only downside to it is that it only has composite videos, so that's not the greatest of all connections. And I tried it on that TV there, well, the one that you guys can't see, and I needed to change the colour settings on it, the colour and I didn't like the brightness settings, well, pretty much most of the picture settings. But once I had that, you know something, it actually is really good. As far as emulating the Mega Drive is concerned, this actually works really well. I mean, let's just, you know, take a discount, let's just take it as read that the composite video is not that great. But yeah, it actually emulates the Mega Drive alright actually. You could say it's like, you know, just a bog standard definition version of the Mega SG, you know, I tested it with a handful of games, specifically the Sonic games, because why not? I know what those games sound and feel like off the back of my hand, and it's actually really good. One way you can tell how good emulation is on a Sonic game is when you pass the signpost at the end of the level. If it makes a standard, then you know it's good. If it makes that like it sounds like it's vomiting, then you know the emulation isn't good. And the emulation is really good on the Retro Gen adapter. I probably wouldn't use it like super regularly, you know, as much as I would the Mega Drive or indeed the Mega SG. I'll put that away later. But you know what, it's a fun little accessory to have, you know, one to mess about with and to show you what technology can do with other technology. It's technically a parasite, to be honest with you, because it just feeds off the Super Nintendo's power supply. I mean, the Super Nintendo does nothing other than, you know, just connects it to it and that's it. So yeah, but yeah, I would do a separate video on it, but 1,000 people got to it before me, so I'm not going to bother too much. Although I may do a fun stream, I don't know. Right, next up, we've got ourselves a trio of ZX Spectrum games. The first one is Punchy. Now this game is an awful lot of fun. It's based off the old Punch and Judy shows that you would see down in the English seaside. And the game itself, as a whole, is actually based off an old arcade game called Hunchback. Well, this is basically a rip-off of that, basically. So, yeah, this was actually one of the first games I actually got for my original Spectrum. And I remember it being fun back then. And to be fair, as far as gameplay is concerned, and control-wise, it hasn't aged that much. I mean, give or take. But you know, it's still alright, you know, I can still happily sit down and play this, so it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Right, next game. This is the showcase of the immortals, the granddaddy of them all. It's WrestleMania! No? Okay. Yeah, I remember having this. Actually, not having this. I remember playing this when I was much younger, but my memory was a little skew-whiffed because it turns out I was remembering the Amstrad version, and that was actually a version that a friend of mine had. So yeah, for £6, it's not too bad. I mean, it's a very nice cardboard box, and it's actually been really well looked after. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can look after it as well. And the tape is pretty much as you expect, and it's a really nice, bit of a nice manual as well. And on the back there, you've got the World Wrestling Federation. Yeah, on a whole, this game takes so long to load. It has to load the title screen, the options screen, and then it has to load the character select, and then it has to load the character rants, although I think it does that together. I'm not 100%. I don't remember off the top of my head, even though I only played it like, what, a couple of weeks ago. And then it loads the match. So there's a lot of loading for this. So you're looking at about, what, 15-20 minutes loading time for this? Yeah. I mean, on the whole, it's actually quite a tricky game. I would recommend playing this with a joystick rather than like a control pad or indeed the keyboard. Although the keyboard would be the second best option. So, I mean, I tried playing that with the Master System controller, and you have to waggle the stick left and right in order for a move to come out, pretty much like the wrestling games on the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo. And to do that on a Master System pad is a little difficult. You mean you have to do it with your two fingers like that, and you know, it can get a bit tricky. Right, last Spectrum game is... I saw this and I thought to myself, ooh, I forgot it came out for home computers as well, and that is Tetris. Oh yes, this was a £5, and initially I loaded this up on the Spectrum itself, and the graphics were corrupted and the game didn't load, which really pissed me off. So I thought to myself, oh my god, I've actually spent £5 on a game that doesn't work. But I thought to myself, what if, right, I put the tape inside that tape player there behind the monitor, connect the tape player to a cassette with a cassette to a stereo headphone jack adapter, and then plug the tape part of that adapter into the Spectrum and then load everything that way. It worked. I don't know how that happened. So it's obviously something wrong with or maybe the head on the Spectrum itself is a bit dirty, I don't know. But yeah, I was able to load it through the stereo behind the monitor. And to be fair, Tetris on the Spectrum isn't too bad. The RNG leaves much to be desired, because on one game, it can load up about, what? In fact, I remember this specifically. It loaded up about 7 S blocks in a row, then about 3 cube blocks. So I was like, can't do much with those. You know, give me a bit more variety. So yeah, but on the whole, it's not too bad. It's Tetris, it's playable, it's addictive. Pretty much what you'd expect from Tetris, really. Right, next up is a classic arcade conversion for the Sega Saturn, and that is The House of the Dead. Now, I've seen the PAL version of this go for like stupid money, and I'm like, I'm not paying money for that. There's like some people want like 50 to 100 quid for a PAL version of House of the Dead, and I'm like, are you having a laugh or what? And I saw this, it was £16, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'll have some of that. 16 quid, not too bad. And it's in really good condition as well. I can't remember what stall I got it from, but you know what? It actually looks super sexy. It's got everything included with it, you know, warranty card, the manual. Look at that. That's very nice. Of course, I remember seeing that on at the beginning of House of the Dead 2. So I played House of the Dead 2 before I played House of the Dead 1. So seeing that, I was like, oh, flashbacks, memories. Yeah, but the manual itself is a standard colour, as you would expect from Japanese versions of games. You know what? You can tell that it's a slightly subpar conversion of the arcade original, but given the system that's actually trying its best to run it, you can kind of forgive it for it, really. So yeah, House of the Dead, it's actually not too bad. It's quite tricky to get the shots right, but you get used to it after a while. And that's not because I'm a rubbish shot, because I can play House of the Dead 2 very well. So yeah. Right, next up is a couple of Mega Drive games. And this first one, I've kind of ummed and ahed about it for years, right? I thought to myself, you know, I've seen this now, it's for cheap as it is, I'm going to get hold of it. And that is Marco's Magic Football. Now, I've seen a lot of places sell this for 10 quid. I thought to myself, okay, fair enough, you know, I'll go around the market, I'll see what I can find, you know, see if I can find it cheaper, but everywhere was pretty much selling it for 10 quid, thereabouts. And I saw the one stall, I saw this game here, I saw that it was actually a £5, and I thought to myself, ooh, that's actually not too bad, actually, I'll pick that up. And the guy told me actually that he priced it up like that a couple of years ago, and I think he was probably meant to mark it up to £10 as well, just to keep it consistent, but £5, that's what it says on the box, and that's how much I got it for. And to be fair, I'm kind of glad I only paid a £5 for it, because, you know something, as a game, it's not too bad. The controls are slightly wonky. I mean, you kind of got to get used to them after a while, but you know something, it's quite a challenging platformer. So yeah, if you can find Marco's Magic Football for cheap, you know, give it a whirl. Right guys, lastly, we've got one game which I have been after for years and years, excuse me, and I've never been able to find it cheap enough. I kind of regret not buying it at the time, but I've got it now. I found it for cheap, and it's really cool. Micro Machines Military. If I recall, this was only ever released in PAL regions. So I'm actually really glad to actually find a copy of this, and of course it's complete in box, although I think it's just the box and the manual, because if I remember rightly from Micro Machines 96, this probably had invitations or certificates for like multiplayer and what have you, because that's what Micro Machines 96 had, and I think Micro Machines 2 as well had like certificates and invites for like multiplayer games and what have you. It was actually really fun. Oh yeah, I got this from Sore Thumb Retro Games, which is actually a really not a bad stall actually. Some of their games, some of their prices are actually quite reasonable, especially this, which I only got it for £15. So that's actually not too bad. The one downside is some joker actually scribbled in on the instruction manual, but on the whole it's actually not that bad, and I'm actually pretty glad I paid that price for it. Although I think the price for this game is coming down a little bit, because I've seen it on eBay and it's about roughly the same price as well. Some people want 20 quid for it, some people want 30 quid for it, and I'm like, nah, I'm not paying that. But £15, yeah, I'll get it. So it's complete in box, so you know, it's pretty much the cheapest version I saw of Micro Machines Military. I think I saw it for more money actually at the market as well, but there we go guys, that is about it for my pickups video. I honestly don't know when the next one will be, because as I've said, I'm just not picking up games as regularly as I do now. So until next time, yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.